Welcome to Raptors Today. This is Media Day, Part 2. If you haven't seen the first show, shame on you. You can't watch this one until you go back and watch the other one. Paul Jones alongside Sherman Hamilton. And Sherm, we talked about in our last episode how things were starting for a more stable point this year without all of the health issues and everything. Just the world has normalized a little bit. Well, it's the same for some of the players.
Yeah.
Pascal Siakam healthy this year. Fred VanVleet has had a summer to recover. And those are two guys that are leaders on this team.
Yeah, and you expect them to really establish how this team is going to play for 82 games and going into the playoffs. And when you have that type of leadership and you have expectation on it, and we've grown accustomed to seeing these two guys respond responsibly to their leadership, you've got some young guys that are willing to follow. All of a sudden, Nick Nurse has a group that can create some magical moments throughout the course of the season.
These two guys have been together for a long time, 905. Championship. Let's hear from Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet.
No, I think, again, like, those are conversations that we have, you know, at the end of the season. You got to assess your season and see how you can get better, things that you need to do. I just feel like, yeah, like, it's time to take another step. Like, it's always been that. Like, I've always believed in that, and I've tried every single year to take another step. But I think for me, after the year that I had, I just felt like there's so much things that I could get better on, and for me, the next step, like, I've been all NBA, I've been an all-star. Like, it's just, I want to be, you know, top 5 player in the league. Like, I want to be one of the best, and I would do everything that I can to work towards that. And you know, I just wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page. And obviously, it's not about talking about it. It's about the actions that you do, like the things that you do, and how you carry yourself. And I think that, yeah, like, I'm ready for it. Yeah, it's time.
It really seemed like it was the summer of Spicy P. You were enjoying life, you're flying around, you're doing all that great stuff with your foundation. But like you mentioned about, you know, balance and everything that happened last off season, what was it like for you mentally? How was it so different from last year? Obviously, you were recovering from your first major surgery,
Right.
but mentally, how different was it for you?
I think, yeah, like, I think when you go through tough times, like, you get stronger as a person, like, you get better. I do believe that, like, I did question, you know, like why is it happening to me? But I think as I was going, I kind of understood, like, yeah, like you built for it, you know, like, that's the reason why it's happening to you. And I've just gotten better as I'm going and learning from the past experiences and just lessons that otherwise I probably would have never learned. And it can only make me a better person, a better player. And that's just, like, the way I carry myself now, is just having that, knowing that I've been through all those things, like, you know, not saying that there's not much that can faze me, but like I've seen a lot of things, yeah, like, I've seen a lot of things from losing people to just, you know, feeling like you're not at the best level that you want to be, or having an injury. Like, there's just so many different things that I've been through as a person that I think is only going to make me stronger, and it's making me to the person I am today. I think we have the pieces. Like, we have I started in 5 last year. I don't know. Like, I think I saw somewhere it was like I was like 15 plus or something like that. Everyone, like, it's like we have the talent. You know what I mean? Like, and I think just we added some good pieces. You know, like Otto. You know, like Rancho. Like, we have different things. You know, we wanted to add shooting. We adding that. You know, like, you know, drafting Christian. He obviously has a lot, you know, to learn, but we just continue to evolve as a team, and I think everyone individually got better. Like, summertime, like, I've seen, you know, from OG to Scottie to, like, the line, like, Justin, everybody, like, is working on their game and wanting to get better. And I think that we just getting an identity as a team also. And last year people didn't really expect much from us, but, like, I think, you know, we really fought hard. Like, we had a lot of ups and downs, but we got better as a team, and we got to experience the playoffs, and something that a lot of our young players didn't have before. So now they had that experience, and I think it's only going to help us get better. So I think that, yeah, like, we have a bright future as a team, and we just got to continue to focus on ourselves, and just go out there, put the work in, and be that team that want to go out there every single night and get a win. Like, and I think that we can do that. It means everything. I think you appreciate it more once you go through a season where you don't have that, right? Like, I think the past years, like, it was just normal coming to preseason every day and, like, just being there, and now it's like, you know, it's just special. I enjoy the summer, being able to have all the time that like, I haven't had the opportunity to have this time in a while also. So just having that time, And also just coming into the season, like last year, like I was trying to like, you know, when preseason was going and training camp, you know, just watching it, you know, like it's just such a different vibe and different feeling. And now I'm just appreciative of the fact that I'll be there and that just kind of like soak up everything and being there from day one, like I think it's going to make a difference.
I mean, I'll just say that I love being a Raptor. I have a great relationship with management, ownership, coaching staff. Like, there's nothing I could really ever complain about, you know, being on this team. But I'm definitely not gonna speak on contractual things, you know, publicly. So you guys will know when it's time to know. But I'm happy where I am, and I think it's a mutual love. We win games. I think it's that simple. So when you're winning, everybody's happy. And when you're not, you know, that stuff will figure itself out. So I never really been a guy to, like, have to be disgruntled or anything, so I can't really speak to that. But I think just if we win, I think everybody's happy. I think there's enough room for everybody. We have a lot of talent. I think it's a good problem to have. But do we have to find a way to play championship level basketball? Sure. And that definitely looks different than what we did at times last year. So camp starts tomorrow, and, you know, we'll see what it looks like. Again, I'm 28. You know what I mean? I know it might feel old on this team, but I feel as good as I felt in a long time. I had a great summer, so I definitely don't feel old. I don't see myself as an old player. And I'm certainly not old in terms of the role that I have. So it's a fairly new experience for me. Really my first year at the helm by myself without Kyle, in the backcourt with me. So this will be my second. And again, I don't know if I have to say it again, I'm not really going to speak on contract things, you know, in terms of those details. But just where I am in this team, I feel great. I feel like I could fit here. And I know my value and what I bring to the table. There should be less explaining and confusion of certain things that we do. Coach adds new things every year, so obviously that'll be an adjustment. But for the most part, we should be pretty familiar with the things that we're going to do, whether that be practice or in the games. And you will hope that will give you a little bit of a advantage early on to win some games. So. Again, I'm excited to get to camp, see what our defense looks like. You see how we're moving and flying around, and the offense will take time, as it always does, and we'll find the right lineups and flow and rhythm that we think can help play championship basketball. Yeah, absolutely. Again, I think that's all part of, exploring how we're going to play and what that will look like. So. We had a lot to work with last year. We got, I think everybody that I've seen so far has gotten better, which is always a good sign to see. And, it's my job to go out there and try to make it work as best as I can while I'm on the floor. But I'm definitely not the coach. We have the best coach in the NBA to figure out all of that stuff. So Nick's got his hands full.
Sherm, let's kind of dissect some of the things Pascal said. Really, as you put it off camera, very lofty goal.
Yeah.
The guy was an all-NBA player. It's not the first time that's happened. And he's talked about being one of the top elite players in the NBA. That's going to take some work. It's kind of like, some of my buddies, they want to lose weight. The first 5 pounds are easy. It's the last 2 or 3 that are really difficult.
Well, I love the fact that Pascal set those goals so high for himself. And that shows you the maturity and the growth from Pascal, understanding that he has to take these steps. If this team is going to get to where they want to get to, which is a championship level, Pascal as a leader needs to be that guy. And he understands that. And the biggest part is accepting it, understanding that this is what I have to be, and knowing that he has to step into those moments with confidence, understanding that he's put the work in and he can get the job done. Another thing I like about what Pascal talked about was going through what he went through last year with the injuries.
Yes.
He understood how difficult it was. He knew that he had to continue to grind through it. And now on the other side, he has a better appreciation for how much that helped him grow, not only as a player, but as a person. And that translates to his play as well.
Well, you talk about grinding. When Pascal was out last year, nobody was in grind mode more so than Fred VanVleet. And it actually kind of wore him down towards the end of the year. Had the summer, he's rested. Nick Nurse has talked about, trying to take some of that pressure and maybe play Fred more strategically, not to wear him down. But look, with this lineup and all these tall guys out there, Sherm, you're still going to have your leader, Fred VanVleet, out there. So the question is, how does he fit in? I mean, he doesn't have to handle the ball because you do have guys like Pascal and Scottie, but he needs to be on the floor.
No question about it. You can play as 6'9" as much as you want. You want Fred VanVleet on the floor because he does so many good things. And you talk about Nick Nurse learning some things about playing Fred so many minutes. Well, there was learning on both sides.
Yes.
And Fred spoke to it briefly, talking about having to do some things differently to prepare for this season, having to change some of his workouts, maybe eat a bit differently, all the things that he had to do, understanding that he needed to be healthy. He knew and felt that his team needed him in the playoffs, and it was unfortunate that he couldn't be there the whole time. He doesn't want that to happen again. Yeah. And Fred has made some changes in the offseason to accommodate him being prepared for those arduous minutes late in the season and going into the playoffs so he can respond for his team.
Here's the scary thing about the Toronto Raptors. Scottie Barnes, the reigning Rookie of the Year, we're going to hear from him right now. There's a line from Bill Parcells who says, when you're a second-year player and you look back as a rookie, you know you didn't know. Well, if Scottie didn't know last year and he did what he did then, imagine what it'll be like this year when he figures he knows.
First of all, how was your summer? It seemed like it was the Scottie Barnes summer.
Summer was amazing. I feel like I got a lot of great work in between working out with my trainers and working out with the coaches. It was a great summer.
After such a great rookie season, what kind of expectations and goals do you have for yourself going into this season?
I would say some expectations and goals is just my first goal is probably just continue to just keep striving for success, trying to keep winning, keep trying to fight, try to win this championship. But I'd say some individual goals is just really just trying to take it to the next level with trying to make defensive teams all-stars and so on.
Nick talked about you seeing yourself as a point guard. Do you see yourself as a point guard, and how do you feel your role will develop this season in that position?
I've always been a point guard, I always had those point guards things, but I feel like I could do it all, no matter what it is. I can play any position, so I don't really try to limit myself to one position. But I always been seeing myself as a point guard. I feel like that's why I went to Florida State. They gave me that promise that I was going to be the point guard of that team, so that's why I went to Florida State, and that was really one of the main reasons why I went there. So I feel like I always saw myself as a point guard, but I always see myself as I can play any position, so it doesn't really matter what position it is, I play it all. Be able to give back to the community in some way possible. I feel like that was one of the main things that I really went into that deal, was because to try to give back to the community. I feel like it's important to be able to do other things in life. I feel like that's a very great thing to be able to do. We need those people that's going to be able to build houses and put things together. So that was a important thing. When I went to that organization and that group, it was just an immediate thing that just really caught attention to me. I would say I feel like I'm going to make the jump, but I'm just going to be who I am on the floor most of the time. So I'm not really overthinking. I know what I can do on the floor and how I impact the game on both ends of the floor. I know I can play defense at a really high level, so really just try to take that next step there. And then I know what I can do on offense, but keep trying to add things into my game. So I feel like that's what's just going to take me to that next step. Keep adding things to my game, and I know what I can really do on the defensive end.
There were times last year, Sherm, when we looked at Scottie Barnes and said he had a little of the Scottie in him in terms of the Scottie Pippen defense, and he had a little bit of the Magic Johnson in him in terms of a big guy handling that ball. Now, he's listed as a guard on the spreadsheet, and everybody's losing their mind, but in actuality, Sherm, this guy is a basketball player.
Yes.
He's that tall body, but he's got the skill from every little guy to every big guy right now.
Yeah, and if you know anything about Nick Nurse, one thing he doesn't want to do is limit guys who have that kind of wide-ranging skill set. And for Scottie Barnes, he proved as a rookie that he can handle the ball, he could shoot that mid-range, step out to the three. There's work to be done, but he could knock it down and keep you honest. But most importantly, he can handle the ball, and he can be a decision maker. So I think when you put all that together, yes, he has a guard skill set, but he also has back to the basket ability. And I expect Nick Nurse to allow him to go out there and put it all on display and continue to grow and develop, because we talked about this last year. At moments, he was a leader on the floor in crucial moments as a rookie. So that growth is going to continue, and he's going to get those opportunities.
All right, Scottie Barnes looking to, as Masai said, and he said kind of himself, make a jump. Let's hear from two other guys that'll be integral parts of this team and looking to make a jump themselves, OG Anunoby and Gary Trent Jr.
Hey, OG, Lindsay from City News Toronto. Two questions for you. What was the most enjoyable thing you did this summer that was not basketball related?
Most enjoyable thing. I don't know. Probably
Was
just.
that good, or?
Yeah, I had a good summer, but the most enjoyable thing, I don't know. I guess reading a book.
What
something.
book?
I have no book I read. I don't know. I'll say going for a walk. Gone on nice walks. Yeah, with good views, watch the sunset, stuff like that.
Sounds like a good time.
It was fun.
And then secondly, how much time did you give yourself after the season, or did you need to reset mentally not to then get ready for a new season?
Not too long. I was trying to just watch the playoff games and relax, but I get bored, so go back to the gym, start shooting. But I try to take some time off, but it's hard. I get bored. Yeah, that's where the going for walks comes in.
Just curious, they were talking about how you're going to more of a leadership role now that you're obviously not old, but one of the older heads on the young group. How does things change for you in terms of how you relate to the other players and try to help them along?
Oh, just we have a lot of young guys, so just try to teach them stuff I was taught when I was younger. I had a lot of good vets, so passing on the stuff I was taught and just teaching them about just how we play, how to fit in, how to help the team win, and then even off the court, just teaching them stuff about nutrition, taking care of their body, and then just try to be more vocal. Just pull guys to the side, tell them what they need to do, what they're not doing. Just be a leader that way.
Kind of an interesting year for you last season, and now you're coming into what is an option year for your contract. And how do you approach it? Is it any different in your mind, or are you just about kind of trying to continue the momentum you built last season in Toronto?
Really just continue to show and prove, continue to keep working, continue to get better, and go from there. I'm excited. I can't wait to get this year started. Last year coming into it, it was my first year. Didn't really know what to expect, didn't know what it had to offer, didn't know what came with it. None of that. Now I got a better picture of what's going on here, my situation, the situation of the team. So, it's cool. Yeah, it helps a lot, especially early on. We're going to British Columbia for training camp. A lot of us are going to places we've never been to before. We're about to have new experiences, together as a team, whether it's good or bad, and all those things help to grow throughout the year. And, at the end of the year, through your experiences, or you end up being how you look and the outcome of your team. So really, that's about it, though, I'm excited. Well, again, just taking it day by day. It's a long season, it's a grind, it's a stretch, it's everything you sign up for, it's what you prepare for. So, really just doing the little things, paying attention to detail, taking care of your body, watching film, all that stuff.
Sherm, let's get right into it with OG Anunoby. Here's a guy that, if he's healthy, he is a major contributor for this team. He's a good defender. He can play on the inside. He was one of the leaders on the team in post touches. This is a guy that the Raptors need to stay healthy and do his thing.
Yeah, and they played through him in the post in terms of not just dumping it in for him to score, but knowing that he was going to attract a second body, he became a better passer out of the post as well, creating opportunities. But you touched on it. It's health. If he can stay healthy, he creates a different dynamic for this team because of his versatility. Defensively, he can guard 1 through 5. And on an offensive end, he can play on the three-point line, he can handle, and he can go in the block. So he adds that element that Nick Nurse loves, the ability to do multiple things with or without the ball in your hands on both sides of the court.
A guy who was a pleasant surprise last year. I'm not sure everybody saw him being this good this early. They knew he had the potential, but boy, Gary Trent Jr. really helped the Raptors out offensively. His defense was pesky. He was good with ball pressure in passing lanes. He's looking to take a jump this year.
Well, he is, and there's got to be a higher comfort level for Gary Trent Jr. with this team now. You know, first year he came in, he jumped on a moving train, did a good job. Last year, he's a bit more, I'd say, stable in the environment, and this year, it's all go. And I think for Gary Trent Jr., the fact that, as you said, defensively, he can be an irritant. He's great in the passing lanes, got active hands. We heard Nick Nurse talk about deflections. Gary Trent Jr. is one of the leaders on this team, but he can do it on the offensive end. You want a guy to go get a bucket? He can go get a bucket.
All right, and they've added some championship experience. Coming off the championship with the Golden State Warriors, Otto Porter Jr., by the way, folks, who was a number 3 overall pick at one point, a lottery pick, is part of this Raptors squad. We talked about Juancho Hernan-Gomez in the last show, Sherm. Otto fits the spectrum, right? Long, athletic, switchable, and can shoot it and play on the offensive end.
And Nick Nurse talked about it. He's a very good rebounder at his position. So he's a veteran guy that understands what he can do, but more importantly, stays away from things that he's not necessarily proficient at. And to me, that type of veteran leadership and understanding of how to fit in. Look, he played on a championship team where he had to figure out a way to fit in. He's coming to Toronto. He's going to understand what Nick Nurse wants of him, and he's going to figure out when he's on the floor the other 4 guys that are around him.
All right, that's it for Media Day. It's off to training camp in Victoria. The Raptors will open camp in Victoria before a preseason game in Edmonton on the 2nd of October. For Sherman Hamilton, our cameraman Matt Andrews, our producer Jake LaRue, and our editor Luke, we thank you for watching us here on Raptors Today.